So for 2024, it's come, it's gone. In my opinion, was it a successful year for gaming? I'm like indifferent. We had really big games like Power World that came into the market that really challenged the throne that is known as Pokemon. We've had great games come and go, such as Helldivers, which was a lot of fun, and a definite resurgence, I'd say, over the last year and a half of Fortnite. Now, there's one market in Europe that is showing a massive downward trend when it comes to console and hardware sales. Does that mean that Europe is going to have a massive downward trend when it comes to games and stuff like that? Well, I don't know. We're about to find out, so let's take a look at this article. Video game console hardware sales down in one region. And like I kind of alluded to, that region's Europe. Europe dropped in 2024 due to market saturation and a lack of new releases. I'd say the biggest problem when it came to 2024 was the lack of releases. There was no massive title that came out and wowed me when it came to PlayStation 5. There was no wow title that really, got to me when it came to the Xbox or the PC that really drove me to want to go purchase one of these, even though I got them all already. Um, on top of that, there really wasn't anything massive when it came to Nintendo. Y'all can correct me down in the comment section down below, but in my opinion, Nintendo really didn't do much last year. The PlayStation 5 Pro was the only new console from the big companies, but couldn't prevent overall sales decline. I wonder why that is. You know why? It's because the PlayStation 5 Pro costs $700. There's only so many people, and I mean, especially with how hard it is out there right now, that can afford $700 for a new console. Overall, gaming sales in Europe saw a 1% increase in 2024, with digital sales rising and physical copies falling. The reason for that is it's convenient and it's really hard actually to get your hands on actual physical copies of games. And in my opinion, when it comes to physical games, it doesn't make sense to go buy the game just to have to download the entire game onto your console. 2024 wasn't a great year for video game consoles in a portion of Europe, including all the major hits like Switch, Xbox, and PlayStation. 2024 seems to have experienced a downward trend for selling new consoles overall in the region, but it wasn't bad news for the gaming industry. It never is. You know why? Because they got us dumb Americans over here lapping that stuff up. In 2024, the only new console to be produced by the big three companies was PlayStation 5 Pro, which is a revamped version of an existing console. While many fans weren't eager to get a Sony branded console with more power, it doesn't seem to have been enough to maintain numbers in Europe for a year when compared to prior years. In my opinion, I don't understand why they do a mid console refresh, if that makes any amount of sense. Because why would you go out and buy a PlayStation 5 Pro right now? Like, I'll wait. At the end of the day, the PlayStation 5 plays all the PlayStation 5 Pro games. It's not like they're going to release games that can't play on the PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation 5 Pro, because that would be just a total loss of money, especially when it comes to that game. And a report released by Video Game Chronicles data indicates that the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series XS, and Nintendo Switch didn't have a great year in Europe, with overall sales of gaming consoles dropping a whopping 21% from the year prior. My question is, I thought basically they silently retired the Xbox Series S, because don't get me wrong, the Series S is a great console when it comes to wanting to save money, but is really held back this generation of consoles because Microsoft was basically said you're not allowed to release games unless you can play it on the Series X and the Series S. Anyways, PlayStation perhaps due to the PlayStation 5 Pro's launch had the best numbers from the year, but sales overall fell 20% compared to 2023. The Nintendo Switch experienced a 15% drop from 2023, while the Series X and S saw a stunning 48% drop. I wonder why that is, Microsoft. You shot yourself in the foot. It's speculated that this is largely due to the current console market being somewhat stagnant. Stagnant is definitely the word for the console market because, well, not just the console market, just in general, the gaming market. You look at most of the games that are in the top 10 games played right now, most of them are older than 2 years old, which is crazy to me. With the original PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series consoles having launched in 2020 and the Nintendo Switch launching back in 2017, not 2027. We're not going to the future yet. But in all seriousness, when it comes to the Xbox Series X, S, and the PlayStation 5, it only makes sense. We're just entering 2025. The console should have like another 2 years left on their life cycle. Most console life cycles are between 5 to 8 years old, and me, honestly, this console generation didn't really begin until 2023 due to a shortage of everything from 2020. Just putting that out there. And the Nintendo Switch, considering we're at 8 years with this console, is impressive. And I love the Nintendo Switch. It's got a decent library of games. The Nintendo Online aspect of it, allowing you backwards like games from the NES, N64, so on and so forth, actually pretty legit. On Amazon's US-based site, the MetaQuest 3 outsold major gaming consoles in 2024, likely indicating that the console sales are growing stagnant in many territories. I think the MetaQuest 3S outsold them only because it was new. There's a lot of people out there that don't have VR headsets. They're just getting into VR. Anyways, overall, gaming didn't see much of an increase in Europe for the year, with 188.1 million PCs and consoles sold in 2024, which is only a rise of 1% over the year prior. While any increase in good things, it's likely less than most gaming publishers would have liked. Me personally, I don't care. You know why? Because most of the games that we have, we buy digitally and we don't own anyways. It's terrible. The numbers also indicate a shift in how players are getting their games, with digital store games rising to 131.6 million, a 15% increase over 2023, with only 56.5 million physical copies that were sold, dropping 22% compared to the year prior. Like I said, the biggest problem when it comes to comparing physical versus digital is a lot of big box stores are discontinued carrying physical games. It takes up a lot of space. You got to think of the logistics to ship it, yada yada yada. It to me, it doesn't even make sense to buy physical anymore because of, like I said earlier, convenience, and big box retailers just getting rid of it. In 2025 is expected to be a strong year for gaming in Europe, with the world. The Nintendo Switch 2 is releasing, which was announced earlier today, which will likely generate a ton of sales. Absolutely, it will. However, it's worth noting that the console sales figures don't include the UK, Germany, and the Netherlands or Austria. It's possible that those locations were factored in. The numbers wouldn't quite seem as bad, which, to me, like, I don't see how you say everything's down in Europe when you don't include the UK, Germany, Netherlands, or Austria. But needless to say, we're going full screen. In my opinion, this is my opinion now, 2024 was just an okay year. Like I said, it's very disheartening to see the gaming market where it is, where there's a lot of layoffs, there's a lot of really bad games being released, there's a lot of patching the game until it works happening. I think that genuinely games need to get back to their core, where they're telling stories instead of playing it safe and let's do a battle royale, let's do online this, online that. Not every game needs to have an online aspect or a component to it. What some companies, Rockstar, does is they tell an amazing single player experience. Naughty Dog, when it comes to The Last of Us. I genuinely think if we get back to the core of games and the core of storytelling and tell a good story, the gaming market will rebound. Instead of patching everything to oblivion to try to make it work. Anyways, you guys, have a great and wonderful day. Mash that like button, subscribe. Every little bit helps out the channel. Anyways, I'll catch you guys later. Bye.